introduce you to Aidan O'Mahony. Welcome, Aidan.
Thanks,
I'll give you a quick rundown here, this encyclopedia of accolades. Played for 14 years for the Kerry Seniors, played over 70 championship games, played for your club Rathmore, Kerry your county, Munster your province, and you played international runs for your country. You've had 10 Munster titles, 5 All-Irelands, 3 National Football Leagues, 2 All-Stars and a man in a match in the 2006 All-Ireland final. Not bad. You need a breath after that. No, brilliant career. And what would you be proud of most, looking back at that, and when you hear someone list your accolades?
Yeah, I suppose I always say this. I think when you're retired, you look back and it's kind of, I suppose when you're playing, every player wants to go up those Hogan steps. You know, like that's what you go back in October, November for, and you do your heavy pre-season and you run through the muck and the cold nights. It's all for that day in September, nothing else. I suppose down here in Kerry, we've had that, I suppose, Kerry Golden Year period where they've been so successful that I think the teams that have followed on, even ourselves, that you're judged on that. And it's a good thing too, because there's an expectation every year on players then to perform and to get to an All-Ireland final and to win it. There's no point saying anything else. You're judged winning All-Ireland finals. So like, I suppose looking back and then when you retire, I think you look back at the memories, you know, like we'd have played together. You remember the players you've played with. You remember, I suppose, the hard training sessions, running up mountains, pushing around bales. You know,
That was Tipperary.
Yeah, that was in the Galties in Tipperary. Yeah. It was one of those, I suppose, bonding sessions where it was
brilliant day.
Yeah, it was a brilliant day. Like, and it's something that sticks in your mind. I think for 2014, like winning that All Ireland, then you know it stood to us, something like that. And those days just don't happen. You know, it's the players and the management coming together, make it happen, and I suppose pushing the boundaries to get to a level where you know that you can win All Ireland. And I think looking back, that's what I look back at. I suppose it's about the memories, and I know myself the medals and stuff now they're in a drawer somewhere. I think Lucia has them probably drawn everywhere around the house. Like, but you know that's what it's about. It's about making memories.
Of course, yeah. Some brilliant accolades. When you do read them out, it's probably scary to look back on some of the achievements, but post-career, you've gone into other things, like on national television, you went Dancing with the Stars, which is a great achievement. Talk to me about that, because I remember talking to you one day and you said, so basically you'd be working through the week and on a Friday you'd head to Dublin, spend 12 hours practicing just for that Sunday night dance, whatever it was. How tough was that schedule?
When I got asked to do it first, obviously you'd be hesitant because being from Kerry, when you're thinking of a dancing competition, obviously when it started out first, we didn't know what was ahead of us. And for me as well, I didn't know was it a proper fit, and you've all these doubts in your mind. It's like I suppose you starting out here today, like you always have your doubts, and then you just go for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I can remember, like I was still working, and I'd work maybe Monday to Wednesday, drive back up. And obviously not having a background in dancing, it's a lot tougher. It's like everything. It's like trying to catch up in football if you miss the first 3 months of a pre-season or something. So you'll be doing 10 and 12 hours a day. Now I think it was tougher than my dance partner than it was for me. Yeah. I'd say her hair I think was falling when the finish of it was so tough. But you know, it was an experience for me that it was probably a different side of life than what I was used to. And you know, you're in the entertainment business as well, like, and it's kind of sink or swim in that you either pick up something fairly quick and you're there Sunday night in front of I suppose the whole nation, they're watching you, there's no hiding it, and you have a minute and a half to either make or break yourself. That's why I was always asked, like, is it very similar to playing an All-Ireland final? And I'd say, well, an All-Ireland final, you might make a mistake in the first 2 minutes, but you've another 70 minutes to kind of redeem yourself. In live television, you don't have as much. And, you know, it was, I suppose for me, it was a new chapter in my life, and it was one of those chapters where you finish playing football and what will I do next? And, you know, I just came along at the right time. I retired, I think, in February of the same year. And it was just an experience. And when it finished, it was parked. And I think that's the one good thing about being a GA player, is that you have 9 months of the year where you're in a group which will say 30 lads, and you notice yourself. And then when it comes to September, when you finish an All-Ireland, if you have an All-Ireland medal in your back pocket, or if you lose an All-Ireland final, you kind of switch off from the players. You wait for the 9 months, and for the next 3 months, like, you're with your family and your friends, and then you might see them again in January. And that's the way Dancing the Stars was. It was maybe 16 weeks of intense work. You're with maybe 20 or 30 people that you're dancing with, And then when he finished the part, and obviously, I keep in touch with a lot of lads, and you'd see him obviously in social media and stuff, and it was just nice to do it, and it was something different as well.
No, it's brilliant because I mean, I think for me it shows that anything you seem to throw your hand at, you generally come out on top, which is a great thing. After that, then you've started up your own fitness online, so AOM Fitness. Talk to me a small bit about that.
Yeah, so myself and my cousin Michael are partners in it. It would have started about 3 years ago. I think we were going to Dublin one day on the bus. I can remember some of the Kerry lads that were just talking about staying to college and talking about fitness. And I knew myself at the time we had started to talk about doing a website as well. So I can remember coming home on the Sunday night and the Monday signed up for Salenta, started doing a degree in strength and conditioning, and I got on to Michael then, and we started running with the idea of setting up a website. Now I knew myself that it's one thing, I suppose, playing at a high level of football and knowing that you're in the gym for so many months of the year and you're doing all these kind of training drills. I just wanted to get a background and have a background to say, I've studied this, and between the two of them, this is what I'm hoping to do. And that's the website came along then, and we put, I suppose, 2 years of hard work into it, and then obviously Dance with the Stars came along and Lucia was born, and it was kind of parked for a few months, which was great as well, because it gave us more time to kind of work on it. And we launched it last year in April, and what we wanted to do something different than kind of bring out a website and have it close and people need to pay money to go onto. So what I wanted to do was that we'd launch the website in April, we'd leave it open for 6 months and leave people see the content in it, and then obviously see if they're happy with it or not happy. Like, it's very easy for someone to look and say, yeah, geez, that content's good, or it's not. And you know, every person is different, and I'm not saying I know everything, because I don't. I'm still learning, and you know, it's very enjoyable, and it's a pastime, and it's something I love.
No, personally, from looking at it, and I think when you've someone like yourself who's, let's say, played at the top level in their sport and then can release content of fitness they've learned, mistakes they've made throughout the years, it's a brilliant online thing, and I think the way the world is going at the moment, it seems to be the right way to go about things. Nutrition and diet, Aidan, I just want to talk to you a small bit about that. We've spoken about it before. You're very into it. You mind your calories every day. You know exactly what's going into your body. How has that changed for you in the past 10 years? How, let's say, from the start, let's say maybe 10, 15 years ago, what you're eating to, let's say, today?
Yeah, so like when I would have started out, even the minors in '98, that time I think was
chicken and pasta,
the least ran milk and the steak and chips, and like we were happy for it. You know, back then there was no dietitians and nutrition wasn't followed. I suppose the training differed as well, in that it was more of a running base programs they were doing. It was all running and skills of the game, which was great as well, because I think it was a mental thing for players. And I remember the minors, you do the very hard running, like, and it always stood with you. And I can remember even starting with the Kerry seniors, that level went up again, went up a lot of notches, like, and it was intense. And I think Pat Flanagan, when he came in 2004, then, and he'd introduced the strength and conditioning side of it. And for, I suppose, for every young player, and especially for being a Kerry player, it was something different, and lads just totally bought into it, and everything came with it then, because you know yourself, when you're doing the strength and conditioning side, if you're trying to put on weight or trying to put on muscle, like, the nutrition and the diet has to be healthy as well. Now you can't be going to the gym and coming out having a bottle of Coke after it. But so it kind of went hand in hand, and then as the years went on, it was kind of frightening, because now into county football it's a professional game.
Exactly.
Obviously played by amateurs, and I think players love it as well. Like, the last couple of years I had in my career, you know, it was amazing. You get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you get into the gym and you're doing an hour's work, and you're going to work, then you're doing your day's work, and you're coming home and you're doing your stretching at home and your nutrition. And I'm not one for counting calories or anything like that, but like, I have your porridge for breakfast. I try to eat kind of naturally enough and stuff that's kind of homegrown, and you know, I'm not trying to make protein balls and all these things. It's kind of
simple food.
Yeah, it's simple food, like, and I think if you train hard enough, and I'll always live by this, that if you train hard enough, no matter what you'll eat, you'll burn it off as well. And it's just very important if you want to get I suppose, to the highest level now, and that extra bit, you need to mind everything. Now, at the same time, you need to live a little as well. Now, as people say, it's fine, you're retired now, but you need to live a little as well. And I've no problem saying I have a sweet tooth, and I like my weekends and going for pick and mix and stuff like that. Like,
course,
and you know, you just need to have a balance, and it's not all about like 7 days a week, I can't start living on lettuce and, I can't eat this and I can't this. You need to have a balance as well, because your mindset is more important than probably I suppose, what's you're putting into your body kind of constantly as well.
Of course. So basically on to the next question. So when Aidan O'Mahony wakes up in the morning to when he goes to sleep at night, can you give us a quick rundown on, let's say, a training day, what you would eat, what you do training, whether you're going to work that day? So start off in the morning.
Yeah, so like a day that I'm working, so I'd start the morning time. We're usually up around 7 o'clock. I'll go to, so we'll get Lucia ready, get ready for work. I'll be in work for 9 o'clock, and I'd work from 9 to 7. Usually then before I come home, I'll do a gym session. And what I usually try to do is, even if I'm working at 12 o'clock in a day, or if it's a night shift I'm working maybe 4 to 2 a.m, I'll try to go in an hour early and get my gym session done in 50 minutes. Put on your uniform, do your day's work. I think it's a great thing, especially in the morning times before you go to work, that you can get your gym session as a kind of feel-good factor then after doing it. And usually if I have a break during the day, I'll try to fit a session in. It's all about, and I found this out myself, that like when you have family and you have work and you're studying, it's all about those kind of windows of opportunity to get, and it's just about doing it. And I know it myself, and there's several days where I've kind of said to myself, Jesus, the last thing I want to do now is a gym session, but I just do it.
Yeah.
I suppose the nutrition side in it's a lot tougher when you're doing shift work, and I suppose I'm lucky enough with community policing. I'd finish at 2 o'clock in the morning. Other guards work till 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's fine for me to be kind of stating here like that. If you have a salad now for, it's different when you're working 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning like that. There mightn't be that. It mightn't be available to you, and the shops aren't open. So like for me, it's kind of a learning curve, and it still is daily. Some mornings that you mightn't get a night's sleep there, and you wake up in the morning, and the last thing you want to face into is the overnight porridge and stuff like that, trying to cook it. But I just do it. I think one thing I've learned is that when you finish playing football as well, is that you're probably judged kind of like how you are after somebody meets Aidan O'Mahony saying, "Oh Jesus, he's really let himself go," and stuff like that. And I'd be conscious of that as well.
Of course, everyone is.
I just want to kind of, like, especially when I'm doing the fitness website, like you are what you're trying to persona yourself to people, and you're not trying to kind of sell something off the back of what you're not. So I'm just trying to be me, like, and as I said, with the shift work and being a guard and studying and stuff like that, it's all about windows. And if I get a 45-minute session, even at home in the morning time, if Lucia woke early, I'll go upstairs and I just do a session, and it's done then for the day.
Of course, yeah. Would you meal prep?
Depends. If I'm kind of a firm believer that if I'm cooking something on a Sunday, that I'll make enough for 2 days, and just kind of take it to work and stuff like that. Like I like to kind of, I suppose, balance the foods where, if I'm training heavy, like if I'm doing running and if I'm doing heavy sessions in the gym, I'm kind of happy enough that I can eat what I want, like with your breads and stuff like that. No, I won't eat white bread or anything like that. Yeah. And obviously, if I'm trying to kind of cut out, I kind of turn more to a salad-based kind of thing. So I try to prep food as much as I can, but look, at times like you don't have the time to do it. So I kind of try to maybe grab a roll or something like that, like, and just eat it, like.
Of course. Throughout your career, you probably set different goals. Whether it's to make a starting team, if you've been dropped, try get your place back, get as fit as you can in a certain period of time. Is there any tips you'd give to, let's say, an average person maybe starting out at this moment in time, or any on their journey? Any small tips that you can give that you've learnt over the past 10 or 15 years? Yeah,
so look, when I started off, I wasn't on the minor panel. I might have broke my nose in '98, and I'd say even if I didn't break my nose, I wouldn't have been on the team. It was so good.
Yeah.
And like me looking in that time, and I can always remember I was kind of looking, saying, right, I came on, I think, in the All-Ireland semi-final in '98, and looking forward, I was saying, right, there's 10 of those starting team are definitely going to be in the seniors next couple of years, and I was kind of saying to myself, I'm not going to be one of them. And I couldn't see myself, genuinely. And I remember going back playing my club and just playing well and enjoying it. And I actually genuinely was. And I was playing soccer as well that time with Old Chapel Rovers, they were called that time. Yeah. And I was playing my older brother, and they were great. There was kind of a balance where football was kind of where we had 4 parked cars in the corners of the pitch and the lights were on. We were just doing laps and laps. And then the Sundays were you'd be togging off inside the bushes going playing a soccer game. And it was just very enjoyable. But getting back to it, I remember Pauly D rang me in 2003, and he said, we're going to bring you in for a trial game. And I found it tough, very tough. I was in college at the time, and for the life of me, I couldn't see myself making team, but I just persisted, and I think Jack Connor came in 2004 then with Pat Flanagan, and I just bought into the weights, and I just put my head down. And that's one thing I've learned in life. And if you're given something, just put your head down, do it the best you can, and just stick with it. And I know myself, like I've played in my career where I haven't started, like 2009, I found it personally tough, and a selfish reason too, like that I wasn't on the starting team for the years before. I'd played every year. Next, all of a sudden, I found myself on the bench. And instead of figuring out a way where I could say to myself, why aren't you playing well, or what have you done wrong? I was blaming everyone else. This fella was wrong, and that fella was wrong. The management team were wrong, and that player shouldn't be starting ahead of me. Instead of saying, right, Aidan, you're doing something wrong here. Your football has gone backwards. And then that's what I did in 2010. I came back. I started enjoying it better, and from then on, as the years now, as you get older as well, I started enjoying it more. I worked harder. I can remember coming back every year in October and doing my own kind of pre-season.
Starting from there.
Before we come back in January. I knew there was young lads coming in every year, and I just stuck with it, and it was very enjoyable. Like, and as you said, for a player starting out, like you might look in and say, well, I'm not going better than him. You never know. You know, we all develop, I suppose, at later stages, like, and it's just about hanging in there and waiting for a break. And when you get a break, then just take it.
Exactly. No, brilliant advice. Just on social media itself, and I suppose the way it's gone, maybe since you started, even myself in the last 10 years, it's blown up. I think everything we look at now is online, whether it be fitness, entertainment, diet, anything. How do you think it's changed people's perceptives, and how do you think it is in mental health? So maybe a young person looking in and going, Jesus, you know, that fella looks great, or that girl looks great. It's tough on young people. It's tough on anyone.
It is, yeah, and I suppose from my job being a guard as well, I suppose you'd see it. We deal a lot with the schools, and you'd be giving talks, and you'd be talking to kids in general. Like when I started out playing, there was no social media, and you know, now I think even they talk about players, like, and when you're on social media, you're open to any criticism and stuff like that. Like, and what I always say to people is that, like, you never know who's behind the keyboard, and they're always going to have a comment, whether it's good or bad. People are always going to have a comment, and I just think you need to take with a pinch of salt. And I suppose for me, it's easy to be saying I'd be thick-skinned, but it's the world we live in today. You know, you play a game there, like you could play a game 10 years ago, and you wouldn't hear after how you played. Only maybe the Kerry man, you might get a 4 or 5 the following week, or the Kingdom paper when you play out years ago. But now, like, you finish a game and like you go into your Twitter account and next you press the thing and next there's notifications and you're tagged.
Yeah.
And like, I know it myself, like I got sent off in the National League final against Dublin in 2016, and you know, I can remember, I'd say I went down for 2 days, and what was said was, like, some of it like was horrendous.
Yeah.
Tagged, I got private messages slating me, giving me out, and you know, I just said to myself, that's fair enough. People are entitled to their opinion. Whether you take it on board is one thing, but they go to bed that night not worrying about you. And that's what my kind of firm belief in life is, that, like, if Pauly D said something about me on social media, then he's not worrying about what I said back about him. You know, you kind of have to look at it that way. And as I said that time, no, I was coming down the bus after the game or the train, and like, you would feel bad because you let people down. I felt that time that I let Kerry down, like, with a great chance, I suppose, playing Dublin in the 2016 league final. And you know, you don't go out in games to get sent off. It just happened in a spur of the moment. But that's the joy with social media now. It's not just, I suppose, AOM Fitness give you out to you on the following Tuesday. There's a couple of thousand people on social media having and venting their anger as well. Like, and yeah, and I think especially for young kids growing up now, I think they kind of need to take it with a pinch of salt. You know, if something is said in social media, you don't know that person, you don't know who it is, and as I said, they're behind the keyboard, their probably picture isn't up there, and they're just voicing their opinion because they have nothing else to do in their day. So, you know, it's kind of, if you read it, kind of say, grand, park it. I don't know the person, it shouldn't bother me.
Exactly. No, I think in a way we're lucky we weren't teenagers, let's say, when all this started to kick off, because as a young mind, you know, you're only developing, and it's a tough time in life anyway. I remember myself going through as a teenager, you know, you are worried about image, you are worried about how you look, and getting those comments flooding into you. Like, when you're that age, when we were that age, you might only hear it off your friends or someone. So, no, it's brilliant advice to be able to park that, leave it go, and maybe worry about the people that you actually care about and care about you. Training with you, Aidan, I was inside with Kerry for 2 years, plagued by injury myself, but one thing I always noticed, we had a rehab coach called Pac, and basically I was with him the whole time, But after every training, let's say you'd have done a training with Kerry, after every training we do extra runs, but you were always there. Now, I'm not sure what age you were in, but you'd already had 4 All-Irelands with Kerry at this stage. Like, what motivated you? I remember coming away from training some nights and going, this fella's after training there. I'm here, doing rehab, trying to get back into it, and this fella's coming for more runs after training, after training, after training.
It's funny actually, you mentioned about the 2 years. I think 1 year you came on there for about 20 minutes and kicked 1-1 off me, and I was sitting my backside. I said the following week for the championship. But I mean, to that, I don't know. I always kind of felt that, as I said, after 2009, I wasn't enjoying football, and I found it very tough. And like something had to change. And then I found that the years after, if I could get an extra yard, and I mean training wise, then I do it. Like, I was a firm, I think Eddie Hart now was a physio time, or Jorkeen, they'll kill me now, but I can remember they'd be telling me nights, don't go training, you're injured, and next I'd say, oh yeah, grand, next I'd walk out the door and I'd be on the pitch before they'd know it, and they'd leave me alone. But I think it's a mental mindset as well. I always felt like you were saying there that I do my session, and if I could do more, I would. Like you talk about burnout and overtraining and stuff. I think there's a great kind of mindset in it as well. Like, if you can kind of balance it, where I found when I was getting older, I needed to train harder. Now, I think a lot of people be in a different mindset where they'll say, you need to tailor this and tailor that. For me personally, I didn't. I trained harder. I remember we were doing 400-meter runs, and
lovely
like
stuff,
your tongue would be
Great
stuck
fun.
to the top of your throat. And
Yeah.
I can remember running around Crokes one night. I think it was the 7th run, and there was a few lads standing at the
12,
wire.
I think, was it?
Yeah, we did 12, and next there was a gate was open. I was saying to myself, Jesus, what am I doing here now? I must go home.
Veer
and
out.
I'll veer out here. But like, that's it. Like, and then all of a sudden you have 12 done.
Yeah.
But like, your mind is telling you to do one thing, the body keeps going, and like those runs there, I think it's a Kerry thing as well, like, where you don't give up, like, and you just persist. And like you were saying about those extra hard runs, they were great. They stood to us as well, like, and it's great to see lads doing them, and every bit helps.
And it paid off. I mean, the All-Ireland was won that year. Just go into, I suppose, speaking about teammates, just a few quick questions. Who was the fastest player you ever played with?
Darren Sullivan.
Surely Darren, I'd say. Yeah. Fittest, besides yourself?
Fittest? Jeez, there was a lot of fit players. Seamus Moyne, definitely one. Like, he just naturally
Really got into core that time. Remember
Yeah.
when Ger Hartnett kind of brought it out? He was.
Yeah, but
he
you'd
jumped
hear
in.
the stories about him, like, get up hills and cycling and old bike and stuff like that, like, and they are things that it would stick with yourself when you're a player as well. Like, you would look back at someone like him and the extra mile he went, and the conditioning. He was just he was infectious around the dressing room and the field. And like I always said, the most important thing about a player is not what they'll say, but just what they'll do, their own actions on the pitch. And he was just a fella that always grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. And
He walked the walk.
yeah.
Most skillful, we'll take Gooch out of it. Because then it'd be a bit of a more difficult question.
Paul Galvin now would have a lot of skill. Like I think the mastery of his game was the breaking ball. He was always in the right position. Like, and 2009 will always be his year. Like, he just, some of the games there, the stuff he did was exceptional. Like, obviously Declan O'Sullivan as well was just
Class act.
once in a lifetime player. Like, and he, one thing for me about Declan was that when he spoke, like, he'd just draw in the whole room. Like, I'd be talking there and they'd be blabbing and probably cursing, and lads would be saying, "Is he ever going to stop talking?" But this guy could speak for 10 seconds, like, and it just stands out. Like, so yeah, they were just exceptional.
Like a
players.
politician, he is.
Yeah.
Funniest, I suppose, in the dressing room, whether it be maybe on the coach on the way to a game, or just all around crack.
I think Daniel Bohan, I'd say he's a mine, and I'd say yourself as well. Like, you're a good man to make phone calls into. Poor old wishy forty Lord Mercy in. So yeah, and like, you always need those characters as well.
Yeah.
Like, so they're a great thing for a team.
Exactly, yeah, no, it bonds the dressing room. Just a few quick fire questions, Aidan. I'm just going to say one word, just give me your own opinion on it. So when I say family, what does that mean to you?
Priority.
Priority. Life itself?
Good at the moment, challenging, plenty of obstacles, but I suppose every day you're trying to get over them or through them.
Always looking to progress. Kerry?
Maybe in the future.
Yeah, no, we have an exclusive here. Fitness?
Love it. It's who Aidan O'Mahony is.
Brilliant. And diet?
Important, but you need to live as well. You need to, like, I think when you talk about diet or nutrition, it's about getting a balance. Two things: water and getting your quota of, I I suppose, fruit and veg every week, and just at the same time enjoying yourself. You have weekends as well. Like you need, I suppose, a cut-off time. Now every dietitian and nutrition start cutting back off it. Yeah, but look, you need that. You need to have the balance where maybe Monday to Friday you're working and you have your 5 days perfectly, and then you might get a takeaway or something the weekend. It just needs to be that takedown where you're not constantly on top 7 days a week. Where this is, you know, like, because you have to live life every day. You know, you never know what's around the corner. Like, and you know, you need to. The biggest thing is healthy and enjoy it. You know.
Exactly. You've a few upcoming events on your page in the next couple of months. Just give us a quick few words about that.
Yeah, so as I said, the page was open for the last 6 months on the website, and now we're going to launch our first program. It's a hypertrophy program. It's kind of a pre-season program, and it's like a muscle building program for, I suppose, all sports: football, soccer, anything you play. And we're launching it the second week in January, and I suppose we've 3 years put into it. The exercises, I've done it myself, and the way I did it, because I know people are saying, it's very easy for you now, sure, you're playing football with 14 years or 20 years. So what I did for the last couple of months, I started doing a running based program where I was doing 10Ks, half marathons, just to trim off all the muscle. Now, the good thing for me, I suppose, is that you have muscle memory, so your muscle picks up quickly. So I started the program 3 weeks ago, and it's 2 whole body programs and an upper body program. It's a 3-day program, so 3-day sessions a week, and it's enjoyable. Now, it's tough. I suppose the thing with hypertrophy is you have 4 sets, you have 8 to 12 reps, and you know, it's about building muscle. It's a pre-season thing as well, and for me, it's a kind of a session where if you can get that 6 weeks in, then for injury and for strength going on the field and for doing hard work, it really stands to you. Like, so we're really looking forward to it. As I said, it's our first program. I'm sure there'll be plenty positive and there'll be negative as well, like, and I'm open to that, like, and it's all about having contact with the people that hopefully purchase the programs and getting feedback and learning from it as well.
No, of course, I think like you said, no one here is trying to be an expert, and I'm certainly not, and you're like that. We're learning every day, and I think by doing things like this, we're learning off each other, learning off people out there, and best of luck with it. I want to say thanks a million for coming in and doing this. You're an absolute gentleman. The best of luck with everything, and you deserve the world. Come on in.
You too, Paul. Right?